The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, as we kick off yet another week of broadcast excellence. At least I would hope so. Anyway, we've got a very interesting market out here. The Chinese decided to goose the market, and we've got some huge movement out here as we start the show. As every day we like to kind of check in with what the S&P is doing. I don't put a lot of weight in either the NASDAQ or the Dow because they're so heavily skewed. But we're up 26 points on the S&P cash at 2087. We are also out with very light volume. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. 1.729 billion shares. We're probably about 500 million shares light at this time today. I think we should have about 2.3 billion shares right now. And what else can we say about that? It is quiet. Maybe volume comes in before the end of the day. But my guess is that this big range of chop is not over yet. I think we've seen a little excuse to run some late to the party shorts on this matter. I've kept my positions to a minimum and actually bailed on one this morning because I didn't think it was acting right, and moved to stop up in another. And that's all I got to say about that. It's we'll look at the other ones at the end of the day, but still kind of hanging in here on one that I have on the daily newsletter. But it'll be very interesting to see exactly what happens by the end of the day. The reason I dropped out of one and a couple of others is I've seen a huge move of these stocks popping and then giving it up yet that day. And also just news moving a very nervous market. Of course, the Chinese bankers moving the markets today, and I have a feeling a lot of weak hands are out here, but this may be setting up one of the best shorting opportunities whatsoever. No one is, well, let me put it, not no one, but almost no one is worried at all about these markets, and that's when markets become the most dangerous. In fact, I'm just watching these screens in almost disbelief in the movement we're having without the volume. That volume is telling me that there aren't a lot of shorts covering, and of course there are not a lot of other people buying. Now that may change into the close because most funds will be buying late in the day if they buy at all. I didn't see in the trend tabs data that a lot of people are going to be coming in for end of the month buying. There may be a little bit of it, but not anything to justify a 26 point bounce in the S&P cash. So what I'm looking for is, are we going to be seeing a bunch of cash come out of Europe and plow back into the U.S. stock market? And is this not the beginning of a monster bubble, or are we going to have a correction here? But this market is so thin as to be incredibly scary to me. So we will continue on that trail today of looking at a lot of these stocks and seeing exactly what we get out of them. In the meantime,
that it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1999, Priceline.com goes public in one of the hottest initial offerings ever. Priced at $16 a share, it opens up at $26.62 and closes the day at $69. First day return of 331%. For those lucky few who got in at the offering price exactly a month later, the stock will hit $162.35. But mere year and a half after that, the Priceline is trading at less than $5 a share. Of course, now, $1,100, $1,200. And I have a feeling that what we're looking for in stocks in the future is going to be exactly this: stocks that come out with wildly optimistic initial IPOs, and then they come back to next to nothing, and something changes on them. I think that your opportunities for IPOs coming out at astronomical valuations before they even hit the public market means that there isn't a whole lot out here for investors for the long term. If you want to trade it, that's great. But my guess is we're going to see a lot more stocks like that. And we're going to talk about Tesla later. I have a feeling that if Tesla is going to be a good buy, it may be at $5. But we'll continue to watch Mr. Twittersphere out here for the movements in Tesla, as we did a week ago, or actually 2 weeks ago now. But on this day in 1999, of course, it's been public for a while now, but sometimes it takes a while for these things to come around. In Breaking Bad in the stock market, Lynn Tilton is one of these gals out here that was they called the diva of the distressed, who runs a private equity firm with Patriot Partners. She's been charged with Securities and Exchange Commission with fraud. The SEC has claimed that her firm was able to collect around $200 or $300 million in fees after allegedly hiding poor performance and 3 collateralized loan obligations. Basically, they're saying she did the exact same thing as Enron, and how she could do that after Enron, kind of amazing. My guess is we're going to see a lot more about this if the charges are indeed true. There's probably some accounting firms out here that have their hands in the cookie jar. Everybody knows that these off-the-book collateralized kind of instruments are relegated to third world accounting. Can I say that? I think I can. In the meantime, give me a call at 877-927-6648. If you want to, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the den as we look out here. What else is going on in the markets out here today? 2 federal agents are facing charges of stealing money from the Silk Road, the online drug dealership in the what is called the deep web. Both of these guys basically funneled off Bitcoins to their own Bitcoin purse and never put them back in to the U.S. government's coffers. Both of these guys, one was an ATF agent, the other one an FBI agent, and apparently they got together and, well, I guess it was the Drug Enforcement Agency and Secret Service, got together and decided to just put those Bitcoins in their own pocket. But what else can you say about that? But interesting to see people who are actually stealing Bitcoins are in the U.S. government these days. There is no honor among thieves and or, of course, people, I guess, in the DEA or Secret Service when it comes to cash. I imagine most of those folks are upright and wonderful folks, and there's always going to be a bad apple or two in the barrel. Again, we were talking about Tesla out here today, and of course, we talked about it a few weeks ago. Mr. Musk is the guy to go to if you want your stock defended with somebody very active on Twitter. Of course, the stock was about ready to break down and break through all lows, down to $182 today, and he turned it around by saying that they were going to have a huge new product come out in the near future. And what is it trading out here at now? Let me take a quick look. 190.32. But kind of down here at these lows, it's trying to break through the lows. Mr. Musk is doing everything he can to make sure that this stock holds up. Eventually, I don't think he will be able to hold it back, but he's going to make it extremely painful for those that remain short on Tesla. But he's saying it will come out on April 30th with a mysterious reveal scheduled for that day at 8 p.m. at the Hawthorne Design Studios. So I don't know what he's going to have, but his last 2 tweets have been overpromised and under-delivered. and this is different. Seems to be a little bit different. Of course, in the news on Thursday and Friday, we found that people were taking pictures of their new model going down the road in various places. And I guess with everybody having a camera phone now, it's almost impossible to keep that kind of stuff off of social networks. And of course, it makes it out there to the news networks too. And there's not a whole lot new. Of course, over the weekend, discrimination was the buzzword in San Francisco. It was all about the pretty much the jury verdict against one of the biggest venture capital firms in San Francisco. For those of the people who have never tried to pitch a product like I have down there, it is quite the event. They all are on one single road. In fact, a rather large bomb would take out every single venture capital firm in the United States, probably 90% of them, probably not all of them. It wouldn't take very much because literally they all have their offices next door to them. And if you're pitching a product, you basically sign up a sheet and you're at 11 o'clock, you're at venture capital firm A, and then 1 o'clock you're pitching at venture capital C, and it just you do your dance on the catwalk for them, and then go hang out at the local bar, and maybe they'll come down and visit you, maybe they won't. But if they come down and visit you and you start talking over a few brewskis down there at the local watering hole that's not far from there, it is probably like a scene out of Star Wars where all the strange people are. But I've done that and had a little bit of interest in the product I was pitching, but that was, 15? It was probably 15 years ago. And, of course, in the height of the dot-com bust. And unfortunately, I came in when everybody was already out of money. My idea, I think, would have probably done very well, but I digress. But of course, what we're talking about today is the Ellen Powell, P-A-O, verdict. And it's been a nonstop blizzard of talk about what's wrong with Silicon Valley. And to tell you the truth, it just seems insane to me that people are saying that women are discriminated for me being out there. At the point that most of these startups are at, they could really care less whether it was a horse that typed on a keyboard or a animal of any kind twittering away and giving a new business plan that would make money. These folks are probably the ultimate capitalists. It doesn't matter. If you can make them money, they'll be all over it. Anyway, Patricia Sellers has an article in Fortune today. Get back to it when we come.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And you can call me at 877-927-6648. We were talking about Ellen Powell. Maybe not everybody that's not inside technology paid any attention to this, although they've discussed it on CNBC and Bloomberg and Fox Business News a bit. But basically, you didn't promote me, therefore I'm being discriminated against, was her argument. They had 4 counts. Basically, she lost on all 4 counts on Friday. And everybody's saying, well, this is still a wonderful victory for women's rights in Silicon Valley. And I don't know, it just seems to me like there's some kind of alternate reality in that city for technology, and maybe why we see so many bubbles in the stock market. But all the people I know that pretty much have really something on the ball are snapped up in a second. Those that are not tend to, basically they find another place to go, and if they're good, they continue to do well. It's not like you lose at one place and then you never find a job. There's 10 jobs as soon as you leave the one you have today in Silicon Valley, and she, of course, got another one. What no one is willing to discuss out there is this gal's husband, who basically did a deal where he was working for General Electric, and he claimed he was, of course, discriminated against, and ended up getting $5 million from GE. And there was a lot of argument in pre-trial on whether or not they could bring up the fact that it was a family business of shaking down the companies that they work for. There were some other things that really didn't have a lot to do with it. And of course, that never was allowed in, and she still lost. My guess is that it's one of these things that's, I guess it can be in your head that you deserve it, but no one else sees it. And unfortunately, you get cases like this that are so far off the mark that they shouldn't, everybody knows that you shouldn't have been gone on, but it's such a politically correct world these days, especially in technology, that it doesn't matter what the facts are, and probably until you get to a court of law. And even then, it doesn't matter. They will basically make up whatever is necessary. And the facts don't matter. Unfortunately, if you want to make money in the stock market, you probably ought to live in Realville and not in some other semi-conscious state. But other than that, not a lot going on out here. We'll get to some charts right off the bat. And we're talking about Tesla, so let's update this. I may have done it a little while ago. See what else we have out here. Yeah, a little bit more coming up here. This thing was breaking and basically was down on Friday with some decent volume. And I thought, well, there it goes. And of course, it was down there this morning, down to about low 180, 180. And looked like it was going to go break this low at 181.40. That low on Friday was just a little light of the 11 million share low of January 14th at 185. My guess is you're going to have one more movement up, maybe with the market out here today, and the next time this thing comes down, it's going to break it. Certainly looks over time, not today, but over time, Tesla looks like it's headed down to 120. If it breaks 120, it's headed down to 40. And I probably talked about this enough ad nauseum to tell everybody that this could be one of the weakest stocks in the market. Let's go to other things and stocks that are moving out here and see what's happening. Of course, energy is the belle of the ball today. Some of these other stocks, if you've missed it, CTRX is going to be acquired by United Health Group, which this is Catamaran Corp, CTRX, and it's going to be acquired by United Health Group's Optimum RX business for $61.50 in cash. And we can write that one off. I suspect that this one is going to sail through. There are not going to be a lot of objections to this merger. ADI, another one moving out here, upgraded, and I think they had a bunch of shorts, but ran through the high of the previous March 20th that had 4.4 million shares with 7.6 million shares today. So, of course, Analog Devices, a little bit of English on the ball on that one because, of course, everybody's now looking everywhere for the next buyout in Silicon because of the Altera on Friday. But we shall return in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, continuing to look at this. Anyway, we've got, of course, Altera, ALTR, and kind of interesting. Everybody was expecting this to be the buyout this morning, only to find out that they are still in discussions. And of course, Altera, we talked a little bit about it in the 4 o'clock hour on Tom O'Brien's show on Friday. But basically, Intel coming in and buying Altera. They make programmable logic chips. And I had some emails today about it, and I said I'd just talk about it because they were more interested in, basically what Altera was. The discussion right now is Intel is going to buy it for about $10 billion. And the way things are going, I imagine that's probably not a bad figure for Altera's business, doing about $2 billion a year. I think that's going to get a lot higher. Now, last year, Altera made a deal with Intel to have Intel makes its chips because no one else could really do as well as a job as Intel. Taiwan Semiconductor is about 18 months behind, along with most of the other fabs in Taiwan or in China. But Altera is rather interesting in that they make a chip that it only really competed with Xilinx. And people said, well, I still don't get this idea of a programmable logic chip. And the answer is that a basically a programmable logic chip has a few things in common that you will understand. One, the chip is kind of a blank slate, and it's a bunch of switches. These switches operate just like the switches in your house. If you got one of those lights that comes on in one room, but you can turn it off yet in another, you flip it up and you flip the other one down. No matter which position the one's in, you flip the other switch the other way, the light comes on. These are called gates, and what these entire chips are made of. And there's several kinds of gates. If you flip both switches up, then the light comes on, but both of them have to be on. If both of them are off, maybe the light comes on. If one's on, one's off, the light comes on or stays off. They're just basic logic. And basically, you put a bunch of these single transistor logic gates together, and maybe you put 10,000 of them in a little cell. Each one of those cells has the ability to talk to one of the wires coming out of that chip. That's an input or an output. And you may have 100 or 1,000 of these cells on one of those chips. And that's what determines the price of these chips. But you'll know that you actually use these chips, especially if you've got a router. The reason why is these chips are basically dumb as a doornail. They don't have any RAM or memory in them, and they have to be programmed every time they're turned on. So if you ever turn on your router and it's, basically takes a minute to come up and start running, the reason is that it's got a programmable logic chip in it. And there's a chip that has memory in it, like a thumb drive. And that programming has to come out of that memory, go into the programmable logic chip, and then reboot to get started. So that's what, especially if you've ever downloaded or had to have someone else download an update for your particular device, especially routers, because they all use these programmable logic chips, because you can make such radical and huge changes to them as time goes along. It's very easy to make these things out of them. But they all have one big drawback, which is they don't fire up instantly. If something fires up in about 2 seconds, then it's probably hardwired and it's not one of these programmable logic chips. But a few reasons to use them. The most important, of course, is that you're not building a huge amount of them, and therefore it doesn't make sense to go make something that's dedicated silicon just for the one practical purpose. The other one is things change, and that's why routers use so many of these. You have to upgrade them, and the possibility of using and having one of these things and breaking the silicon inside of it and having to literally build something new is huge. So most of these router manufacturers like D-Link and the one that used to belong to Cisco and all the other router manufacturers all tend to use these. So it's a pretty big business. Some of these things sell for as cheap as $2, and some of these basically sell for $200. We used tens of thousands of them in the company I worked for in the 90s. And most of the chips were anywhere from about $20 to $40 that we used at the time. The nice thing was, if we had to basically make a change to those chips and they came back in for service, we could just upgrade the chips as necessary and push the product out. And basically, it was as good as a product that was brand new and just been manufactured. All the latest changes had happened in it, and it makes it very configurable. But also, if we would have made that $40 chip in dedicated silicon, it would have cost us $10 million, but the cost of the chip would have been about $3. So you have to do that crossover math where Altera makes sense. It makes implicit sense if you need to get to market and or you don't want to send your chips over to China to get made, which is a big problem. So if you're in the military, a huge deal, because almost all the chips in military devices use ASICs or these programmable logic chips. The reason why, there's no prying eyes over there in China or Russia that can get to the code. Those chips come back to the United States where they're actually programmed. So this thing's got an element of U.S. security, especially for military applications and extensibility. Let's take a quick look at Xilinx, ZLNX. And let me know if you, when I take these deep dives, if you're interested in these, or if you can always email me and let me know if maybe it's just too much. But hopefully I explain it simply enough. I always liked Einstein's belief, if you truly knew something well enough, you could explain it to an 8th grader. And some people say a 4th grader, but I don't know. I think maybe that's a little too young. As always, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. Call me at 877-927-6648 or post a message in the den. So let's check out here in the S&P cash. We're up 25 points, and tell you the truth, we are in big trouble out here on volume. We are still at just 1.9 billion shares. So this is going to be an extremely light volume day. I would suspect that we're going to get, or you'd probably need to get ready for some huge volatility in this market with this light of a volume. And my guess is that Tom will come on here at the end of the third hour, 3 o'clock hour. And unless something drastically changes, we're going to be incredibly light for when we came up here. Probably another 400 million shares light the last time we tried this. So light volume, lighter volume, and now incredibly light volume as we push back up into these markets. I'm just looking at a few other things out here. There's something big going on and brewing with these markets. I'm just not exactly sure what it is yet. Is it the Middle East? Is it the Eurozone blowing up? There's about 4 or 5 things that could blow up at any minute with just one spark going wrong. So we will continue to keep an eye on it. Oh, I want to go back to other stuff that's moving out here. A lot of these stocks, which makes me think we're probably close to at least a midterm move out here. This is about the 10th stock in the last week that have come out and started issuing more stocks. And that's Mylan, M-Y-L. This is down on fairly decent volume. They're going to be offering another 35 million ordinary shares held by subsidiaries of Abbott Laboratories. So that's going to be continuing on out here. We talked about Altera. What else? Got some more out here. Miners are under pressure out here, and AEM is leading the charge out here with, let's see what else is out here. It's off 3%. Going back down, you can make a case that this is a ABC down. The volume really doesn't back that up as much, and that would be interesting. That does not mean you can't come out and retest the $21.65 low from December 17th out here. And maybe you come back down here with very light volume and finally make some kind of long-term low. Question, any new technology for EEPROMs? I think Mr. Bill in the den asked about memory. And no, EEPROMs, everybody's gone to non-volatile RAM. So not a lot of discussion about EEPROMs out there. Non-volatile RAM technologies like NRAM just use so much more than anything else now. It's so cheap that not a lot of people are using EEPROMs except for very, very tiny stuff. Armor? Don't know about that. Old technology, maybe still using EEPROMs. I just don't see many on many boards. But I think he also asked a question on Friday, which I did not get to, which is the new technology in memory, which is, I'll just gloss over it easily. But I think we talked about Micron and SanDisk last week. SanDisk is odd man out, and Micron's having a little bounce out here, but not a lot of love. Way too much volume. It was lighter than the last low out here. The real news is Intel's licensing of 3D memory. And all you need to know about 3D memory is go to New York City. And when you run out of real estate, you start building up and higher. And that's what 3D memory is. It's basically building skyscrapers where once you only put a single family, one story dwelling. They just started building it higher and stacking memory basically on, think about building and stacking memory on its side. There's a couple of new technologies that's going to be coming out in computers over the next year. And that basically means that you can put 12 memory chips on a single stick for computer memory. And that means that you could literally have one stick of memory with 512 gigabytes of RAM on a single chip. And I think 8 times that with the new processors from Intel coming out this fall. So a lot of it has to do with this trying to get the density and the power ratings down on it. And Micron signed a deal with Intel. Everybody else has signed a deal with Intel. SanDisk is the one company that hasn't signed a deal with Intel on this 3D memory technology. And that's what I think is really sticking on SanDisk and why they're down. For whatever reason, they couldn't make the deal out there with Intel. And I haven't had enough time to go out here. The only nice thing is you finally gotten down to a sign of strength in SanDisk, which goes back to the 17th of October 2013, when this thing gapped up with 13.7 million shares. And of course, what do we have out here today? In the last few days, you came into it with 32 million shares 2 days ago. Friday, 14 million shares today, 4 million shares. So it's going to be at least a temporary low, but I'm not looking for this thing to turn around anytime soon. SanDisk looks like it's basically fallen off a cliff, and there isn't a lot of coming back. EPROMs went out with S-Video. Okay. One of our engineers chiming in from the peanut gallery. And at the same time, you still have plenty of time to get a hold of me for the last segment out here. And we're going to start looking at some other stocks. Wanted to see how some of these were doing. AM in healthcare services. This thing's way up here at the top, a little doji out here. Light volume across the last 3 or 4 days out here. I'm watching some of these and how these stocks, not a lot of stocks out here giving very decent signals. Some of the other ones out here that I'm looking at are counter moves. You had a huge move down on a huge sign of weakness. You also have a high volume low in Chicago Bridge and Iron Company. CBI is the symbol on this one. It's come back up where this thing started to fall apart. In most of those days, there was about 3.5 million shares. We are back into those days on the 28th of November, 2014. And we've got about 1/3 the volume out here. So I'm going to be watching stocks like this over the next couple of days, but keep an eye on CBI. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Dyna shipping. We also have these stocks out here at bulk shippers that I don't know if they can go any lower, but certainly not beautiful. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Give me a call in the meantime.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, we're going to get to the last one. We were talking about Dyna Shipping in the previous segment as we closed out here. And I'm going to start looking very hard at these companies. Maybe something's going to turn around I'm unfamiliar with, but certainly if you are short these bulk shippers, I would say that you've gotten every signal out here that you've gotten everything you're going to get. Does it bounce, come back down and break these things even lower someday? Maybe, but right now you're getting pretty good indication with the high volume move of December 17th at 1.6 million shares at $6.28. You've broken that twice, and you'd actually be on a buy signal if this closed back above $6.28. The only thing is these bulk shippers, I just don't see the change in especially iron ore or some of the other heavy things that they carry to really change what's going on out here. The other side of that is there's so much crude floating around that they're using it for mobile storage of crude that we're finding stocks like Nordic American Tankers, NAT, up at the highs. Doesn't have a lot of volume out here, but certainly it is up at the previous January 12th, 2015 high, 4.1 million shares, $12.08 on that day. We haven't quite pierced that, but certainly and kind of light on volume. Maybe something else is waiting, or another shoe is waiting to happen. But pretty much completed an ABC too, so maybe this thing just goes sideways for a while. But certainly up against some highs, had basically a $3 move on a $12 stock to come back and come right back up to the top, which I find very interesting. But of course, no one wanted them to begin with, and now you need places to shove crude. And my guess is that half these ships are just out circling in the Gulfs of somewhere holding crude up there. But that's it. Other stocks out here that I'm watching, Rite Aid Corporation, another one that is breaking out above a previous high on very light volume. February 11th, we saw $8.48 with 110 million shares. We're going through that right now with basically 27 million shares, 28 million shares. So keep an eye on that one too. I bet a lot of these are going to just pop back in the trading range. Let's take a quick look at how the market is shaping up. We're up just a hair under 27 points, just at 2 billion shares right now. So volume is incredibly light. And I don't know what else to say about it other than that. That is that we've got, a extremely light high out here. And pretty insane, actually. Now, the question is whether we have any volume come in by the end of the day. And I could see, we're basically on the last day of the month. So we've got a couple more days. Do people hold out, hope that the market pulls back a little bit in their funds so they can get these stocks a little cheaper? Normally, they don't get the opportunity to, because the market knows it can hold itself up here. What I would be interested in is just what happens out here because of the incredibly light volume. I'm going to check these volumes after I get off the air, but this is pretty ridiculous. In fact, let's take a quick look at the Qs and see what we have out here. See if there's any kind of indication out here. Yeah, same thing. Very light volume on a fairly decent gap up out here. And of course, we've been going up on light volume on Friday and today. And we are into a high volume down candle on that on the 25th. So I think we're going to have some action in the next couple of days, but stay tuned. As always, sell when you can, not when you have to. And see you tomorrow, same bat channel. Channel 14, by the way, on Tiger TV. Same bat time.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.